I stayed patient until they fixed their mistake. The calls didn't start aggressively, they started confused. People asking if they had reached the front desk, others asking about room availability, check-in times, late arrivals. At first, I assumed it was random, a mistake that would correct itself. I told every caller the same thing: you have the wrong number. Some apologized, some laughed, some hung up annoyed. But the calls kept coming. Different voices, different accents, different expectations, all asking about the same place. That was when I realized it wasn't an accident. It was a business, a newly opened hotel somewhere across the city. Their number had been printed incorrectly, and it was mine. I knew because callers mentioned details: the lobby, the restaurant, the rooftop, things I had never seen. I searched online, the hotel's website, flyers, ads. My phone number was everywhere. I contacted them, politely. I explained that their promotional materials listed my personal number, that people were calling constantly, that I needed it fixed. They sounded annoyed. They told me they had already distributed everything, already paid for printing, already launched. They said changing it would be inconvenient. They suggested I silence my phone. I explained I lived alone, that I needed my phone for emergencies. They said they would look into it. They never did. The calls increased. Early mornings, late nights, weekends. Some callers were angry when I told them they had the wrong number. They accused me of being unprofessional. I tried again. Emails, messages, screenshots. No response. I learned to tolerate it. I kept my phone close, but dreaded every vibration. Sleep became shallow. Work suffered. Weeks passed. One afternoon, a man called, confident, impatient. He demanded to speak to someone in charge. I didn't correct him. I listened. He described a large event, important guests, high expectations. I let him talk. I matched his tone. Yes, the date was available. Yes, exclusive service could be arranged. Yes, everything would be handled. I gave him a name, the same manager who told me this wasn't their problem. The phone went silent after that. Not immediately, but gradually. The calls slowed, then stopped. Later, I heard the hotel had internal issues, staff changes, complaints, confusion. My number disappeared from their listings. I didn't feel proud. I felt relieved. Sometimes tolerance isn't about enduring forever. It's about waiting until you're forced to stop explaining. Patience doesn't mean acceptance. Sometimes it's what we use until responsibility has nowhere left to go.
Patience until they had to listen. The first call came during dinner, a man asking about concrete prices. I told him he had the wrong number. He apologized and hung up. I forgot about it. The next day, 3 more calls came. Roof repairs, foundation quotes, urgent timelines. Different voices, same assumption. That was when I checked. A small construction company, local, busy, advertising everywhere. My phone number was listed as theirs. I contacted them, calmly. I explained that their ads, their website, their flyers, all pointed to my personal phone. They sounded rushed. They said they were in the middle of jobs. They said they would handle it later. They didn't. The calls kept coming. Early mornings while I slept, late evenings when I tried to rest. Some callers were polite, others were angry. They accused me of wasting their time. I called the company again, more firmly. They told me changing the number would cost money. They said reprinting materials wasn't worth it. They suggested I ignore the calls. I explained this was my only number. They laughed. That was when tolerance became effort. I started logging calls, dates, times, what was said. I sent emails, screenshots, records, proof. No response. Weeks passed. One afternoon, a woman called. She sounded stressed. She said they had a contract deadline and needed confirmation. I didn't correct her. I listened. I asked questions. I repeated her concerns. I told her everything was approved. I gave her a name, the owner's name, the same person who told me it wasn't his problem. The calls slowed after that, then stopped. Not because I yelled, not because I threatened, but because someone else was suddenly inconvenienced. A week later, their website was updated. My number disappeared. No apology, no explanation, just silence. I kept my number. I slept again. Sometimes tolerance isn't weakness, it's restraint, held long enough for responsibility to land where it belongs.
Patience doesn't always mean waiting forever. Sometimes it means waiting until you no longer have to explain. I didn't expect the group project to become a lesson in patience. At the beginning, everyone agreed. 5 names, 1 grade. Shared responsibility. The first week, nothing happened. Messages went unread. Deadlines passed quietly. I reminded them once, then twice. Each time they said they were busy. Each time they said they'd catch up. So I waited. Patience felt reasonable at first. I started the outline, thinking they would join. I gathered sources, assuming they would contribute. They didn't. By the second month, I was doing everything: research, slides, examples, citations. Every check-in meeting, they promised updates. None arrived. I stopped asking, not because I gave up, but because patience needed a direction. I documented everything: dates, messages, files, who sent what, which was nothing. I finished the project alone, not perfectly, but honestly. The week before the presentation, they suddenly appeared, asking for the slides, asking what to say, asking if they could present certain parts. I didn't argue. I sent the final version, with my name on every section. The day of the presentation, the professor asked a question, a simple one, about a method used in the project. They looked at me. I answered. The professor asked another. They hesitated. Silence stretched. Then I spoke. Calmly, I explained that I had completed the work independently, that I had informed the group multiple times, that no contributions were submitted. I showed the records. The room stayed quiet. The professor listened, then nodded. He asked the others to step aside. He told them group credit requires group work. They argued. They said it wasn't fair. He disagreed. He allowed me to submit the project as an individual assignment. I passed. They didn't. After class, one of them accused me, said I sabotaged them. I didn't respond. Patience doesn't announce itself. It just stops carrying people who refuse to walk. I didn't fail them, they failed to show up, and patience made sure the difference was visible.